Welcome to Inside Politics. I'm Kevin Klein. I want to talk about the election on Monday, something that we should think about. We have sat back and we have watched our country become more and more divided as political gamesmanship replaces leadership. As Canadians, we used to pride ourselves on working through our differences. Now it's headline after headline about partisan fights, finger pointing, and government failures that seem to drag on without consequences. We've watched our once admired healthcare system crumble. People are waiting in pain for surgeries, long lineups in emergency rooms. People are actually dying in our emergency rooms waiting for care, and families are scrambling to find doctors. Politicians, they make their announcements, they cut ribbons, hold roundtables, but nothing seems to change for the average Canadian waiting for real care. We've watched food banks become stretched to their breaking point. In fact, it's become normal now that Canadians, many of them working full-time jobs, have to turn to charity to feed their families. Now, this didn't happen overnight. It's the result of years and years of government mismanagement, endless spending, and policies that punish productivity instead of rewarding it. We've watched Russian and Chinese warships patrol closer and closer to our northern borders, testing our response. We barely hear a whisper about this from our government. Our military is underfunded, underequipped, and underappreciated. Meanwhile, our borders, land, sea, and digital, feel less secure than ever before. We've watched our tax bill grow faster than our paychecks. When you add it up, the average Canadian now spends more on taxes than they do on food, clothing, and shelter combined. That's not just a talking point, that's a fact. We are paying more and more and getting less and less. We've watched as violent crime rises year after year. In big cities and small towns alike, police are stretched thin, and criminals often get released before the paperwork is filed. Victims, meanwhile, are left waiting while repeat offenders cycle through the system unchecked. And the politicians responsible? Not a word of accountability, just finger pointing. We've watched election after election go by while telling ourselves our vote doesn't matter. We've heard it all before. They're all the same. Nothing ever changes. But that defeatist thinking is part of the reason we're in the mess we are today. The truth is, your vote does matter. It always has, it always will. It's the one tool every Canadian has to shape the direction of our country. And now we're out of time. You have to stop watching and start doing something about it. On Monday, you have a chance to speak louder than any social media post, louder than any protest or protester, louder than any complaint you've ever shouted at a TV screen. Monday, you vote. Not voting is not an act of protest. It's an act of surrender. It's handing the power of your voice to someone else. And right now, with everything on the line, from affordability to public safety to national sovereignty, we can't afford silence. It doesn't matter if you're 19 or 90, whether you live in a condo downtown or on a farm outside the city, whether you run a company or you're just finishing university to start your career. At the ballot box, we're all equal. This is the greatest strength of our democracy. One person, one vote. No status, no special access, no exceptions. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It really doesn't. What matters is that you do go vote. Because when voter turnout is low, which I don't think it will be, but when it is, the loudest and most extreme voices win. When Canadians stay home, decisions get made by the few rather than the many. And that's not democracy, that's decay. Maybe you've never voted before. Maybe it's been a few elections since you've voted. Maybe you've lost trust in the system altogether or politicians. And I get it, trust me. I've been in the room with career politicians more interested in protecting themselves than serving you. I've seen how broken the system is from the inside out. But I also know no change ever came from sitting on the sidelines. On Monday, please make your voice heard. Bring your frustration, your hope, your disappointment, your ideas, your concerns, bring them all into the voting booth and make it count. Canada is worth fighting for, don't you think? I believe Canada is worth fighting for, and our future is worth showing up for. So on Monday, please do whatever it takes to go cast your vote.